Alright, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are finally unboxing the first of the 3 mystery boxes I've been teasing in the past couple of videos. We're finally doing the carbon fiber roof install on the M3. So what we're ending up doing is CSL style RKP carbon fiber roof. Then we're installing everything else is OEM BMW, so we're headliner OEM. I rewrapped all the interior pieces with Alcantara just to make it look better and nicer and fresher. We're also installing a brand new front windshield in the front, also Euro spec with the UV protection in it as well, so it's going to look nice and purple, and I love that look. I have it on the 1 Series and it looks amazing. And then what else we're going to do in this video? Oh yeah, so another thing we're going to compare is how much weight savings we have with the carbon fiber roof versus the sunroof and the metal top. We're going to be able to see how much we're going to save weight and if it's a good bang for the buck. In my personal opinion, I think it's not, but it does look cool and it does save weight up top. So now we're going to start taking off some of the interior pieces and some of the exterior pieces until XL Auto Glass comes, and then we can start taking out the windshields and then finally get to removing the sunroof and the roof. Alright, so now we're removing the trim piece from the roof, and we have the other side removed. So these are the 2 pieces we have to remove after the windshields, front and rear, to get access to the roof. And we're going to get to cleaning up the residual epoxy from the windshields, and once we have that cleaned, we can start working away at spot welds. Alright, so now the next step after we've cleaned everything up, we have to take the headliner out so we have access to the inside, and we're going to do that right now. Alright, so the headliner is out. I didn't film how to take out like the screws, but there's about 12 to 16 screws that you unscrew. And once you do that, you can start pulling off the headliner. It's all little trim pieces that are attached to the headliner, which are holding it up. But yeah, so now I'm just filming to show you guys what the sunroof assembly looks like. It's pretty big. I didn't think it was this big, but it goes all the way to the end of the roof. And now you can kind of see why it's so heavy, because look at it, look at everything that's on this assembly. There's so many parts on the sunroof. Okay, so now that we've removed the front and rear windshield, we actually, you guys just saw we took out the sunroof assembly. We took out the headliner. We're getting to the good part of doing this roof. So we protected everything on the inside, so that's very important. Make sure to protect everything on the inside. I've seen a lot of people remove the front two seats, but I don't think it's necessary. I've done it. I've done this before on the 1 Series, and we didn't have to do that. So you just recline the front two seats, and they sit pretty flush with the back, and you have enough room to work on the car without having to worry about getting anything damaged. Just make sure that everything's protected nicely, and you'll be good. The next step is grinding off. Right here, we're going to be grinding off this adhesive residue, and then we're going to see where the spot welds are. Like there's one right here. And then we're going to go in with a spot weld drill bit, and we're going to drill open all of these spot welds. And once we have that, we can start going in with the chisel and getting underneath the two sheet metals. There's one on the bottom, there's one at the top for the roof. We're going to get in between those, and we're going to start chiseling apart the top panel and just like peeling it off. So it's going to be kind of like peeling a banana. We're going to peel off this part of the sheet metal, and it's going to come off. And once we have that, we can actually remove this panel, and then we're going to start the next preparations, which have a few extra steps because it's a carbon fiber roof, and we have to prepare the metal to react with the adhesive that's going to be on the carbon fiber. So yeah, that's the next steps. Let's get to it. Alright, so now you can see the end result of gently grinding off the adhesive that was from the windshield. As you can see, just a little bit of grinding exposes the spot welds right here. So there's a few, and that's what you want to do. You want to expose them, and then just make sure that you get kind of down to the bare metal right here, and every single spot weld is going to be exposed. And then as you can see right here, you can kind of tell the two different sheet metal layers. One that's the chassis and one that's the roof panel. And that's where we're going to be going in with the chisel to get leverage to get in and then peel it back. You also, when you're grinding it off, you want to kind of expose the bare metal and the bottom chassis right here. There's like a little bit filler and the old adhesive in between, so that's what you're kind of trying to get at. So that way there's nothing holding this panel to the car anymore, so this adhesive is gone, so it's not holding the car. So we're going to do the same thing to the rear of the car, and then we're going to start working on the spot weld, so we'll see in a bit. Just double-sided tape. Alright, so okay, so what we just did is we removed the antenna from the roof, As you can see on the E46s, they're installed with double-sided tape, not like the new ones where they have a hole and everything. Basically kind of have to chisel it off almost, or use a spatula, get in between and cut the double-sided tape off. And now, so we have the option, we can reinstall this on the carbon fiber roof and have it on top, or what I'm thinking, since like the, as you can see right here, zoom in, the rubber is kind of deteriorated, hiding this antenna somewhere else in the car. That way we have the clean look like the OEM CSL had. I'll see what I figure out, what we end up doing. We might put it on the roof, we might not. We'll see how the signal is wherever we end up hiding it. But I think I'm gonna go with like the OEM CSL look without the antenna. Yeah, so now we're gonna do the rear and then we'll get back to you. So what we're doing now is we're just marking these spot welds so we can visually see them where they are when we're gonna go in and drill them open. So we're gonna do that all around the car just to make it easier on us, and kind of have it marked out and laid out so we don't miss a spot weld when we're trying to chisel it off. So I'm gonna go do that around the whole car, and then we're gonna start drilling them open. Okay, so now that we're drilling open the spot welds, you want to penetrate the first layer of sheet metal. So you don't want to go in too deep, but you'll feel like a little give, and that's what you'll know that you went through the first sheet metal, and that's what you want to do everywhere. If you accidentally go through all of them, it's not too big of a deal because we're using epoxy with the carbon fiber roof, so there's no worries about having to re-weld it. So it's not a huge deal, but you want to be careful and just go through one sheet metal. Alright, let's start. This is what we're trying to get at. So you kind of want to drill them open, but you don't want to go all the way through. And that's what we're looking for. So we're looking for just penetrating the first layer of sheet metal, and then that's it. And now we're going to go in with the spatula and separate the top layer from the bottom layer of the chassis. And once we do that from this side, we'll go do it on the front as well. Okay, so before we start peeling back the skin even more, we have to remove 4 screws. They're on the top of the roof. There's one right here on the other side as well, and then on the driver's side and the passenger side as well. So you just use a 10mm socket and you go in and use some force and then just remove it, and it comes right off. There we go. So I'm going to remove the other 2 on both sides of the driver and passenger side, and then we're going to continue taking off the rest of the roof. Okay, so we're back. The roof panel, as you can see, is semi-off. We have chiseled off, as you saw, the rear end. There's adhesive right there, see, in the back, and you have to get rid of that. You have to like chisel that off or cut it. So you kind of peel this back slightly to get access to, and then you go in and you cut that adhesive, and then you can pull the panel back. So we did that on the rear, and we're going to be moving to the front. Okay, so as you can see, we found out that on the E46 chassis, the top sheet and the E46 chassis are also glued underneath this piece. So you kind of have to peel back the top skin to get access to the bottom sheet metal that's also glued which you can see right there with that glue, green adhesive. It's glued to the bottom, and you have to go in and kind of chisel it up, and to get access to remove the skin. So that's like a trick with the E46 M3s, that they have that extra layer of adhesive underneath another piece of sheet metal. Alright, so we've come to step 2 of this process, and we've added K1 adhesive from BMW, which is used to protect the metal if the coating, this coating right here, that's on the chassis is damaged. So we're adding this to prevent corrosion down the line. And technically just need to apply it where it was like the spot welds and stuff were drilled open and it was bare metal exposed, but we applied it everywhere since this does take 24 hours to cure. So applied it around the whole exterior perimeter of where we had all the spot welds, and we're gonna let it cure for 24 hours, and then we'll be back. Alright, so now what we're doing is we're installing the cross brace that goes across right here, and we've marked out everything, as you can see, or you guys saw previously, and we're not going to be welding anything. What we're doing is we're installing rivets, and we're also epoxying the cross brace to the chassis like all the brand new BMWs do. So we're just avoiding the step of having to weld parts, and we're doing something new. I haven't seen anybody do this on the internet, so we're going to be one of the first people to test it out, see how it works. So we'll see how well this method works versus having the cross brace welded on with spot welds. And now what we have to do is prepare the surfaces, and we already drilled the holes for the rivets. Now we just have to scuff the surfaces so we can prep it for the adhesive, and then we're going to be putting the adhesive on, the rivets, and then the cross brace is installed. Okay, so that side is scuffed up. You don't have to do much, but you just need to scuff the surface so we can get it primed and cleaned for the adhesive. And now that that's done, we're gonna go and do the next step. I'll leave the cleaner and all the adhesives and everything in the description below if you guys are trying to do this project by yourself, so you guys have what cleaners and everything is needed to do this project. So now that we've cleaned the scuffed areas, we're gonna go in and put some adhesive now, and then go install it in the car. Now we're installing the cross brace. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the carbon fiber roof. that we ordered. This is an RKP 1x1 weave carbon fiber roof. It's a OEM replica of the CSL roof. This I got it through ECS, and thanks to, or shout out to Chris for getting it to me within a week, which was very clutch, and all the other parts, or actually not the other parts, but the cross brace as well, and the headliner. So that's all 3 parts that we got from the ECS, so within a week, so it was pretty awesome. Yeah, so we're gonna unbox this. It's gonna be a lot of packaging. Okay, so let's unwrap the roof. Okay, so there's a lot of packaging in here, so this is going to take a while, so we'll just cut to when I take it off. I think there's 4 layers of packaging inside the box, so we'll cut to the end. Okay, so as I showed, the CSL RKP roof with the 1x1 weave, as you can see right here, is ready, and we're going to be test fitting it onto the car now just to make sure everything lines up, and before we start putting any adhesive on, which is the final step. But the roof weighs 3.7 kilos, so it's about 6.6 pounds, and compared to the roof, the OEM roof, we're saving about 21 kilograms of weight on top, from the top. We're gonna scuff up the bottom edge right here, so all the edges around here. We're gonna test fit the roof right now. Okay, so it wouldn't be a build on my channel if we didn't run into an issue. So this is what happens when you get aftermarket, and as you can see, the carbon fiber has a weird bulge in this area, and it's pushed up about 1 centimeter up, so ½ inch off of the chassis, and it's not supposed to be doing that, and it's doing it exactly here and on the other side over there on the same spot. So you can see the carbon fiber is supposed to be low like this, recessed in, and it's over the edge of the chassis right now. So that's a huge problem, because we can push it down, clamp it down, and put adhesive on, but there's going to be a lot of tension on this bond right here, which it's not supposed to have, and it could cause us some problems. So we're going to try to figure out if there's a solution to making it fit properly, but it looks like the mold that they're using is not that good. So I made sure to scuff everything up, so where the chassis is, the cross brace, and the rear mount goes, and then as well as the edges right here. So all of these edges have to get scuffed to prep it for the epoxy and the primer. So what we're going to be using is, here we're using windshield adhesive in this area right here, as well as right here and right here. So windshield adhesive. On the edges, it's a special metal to carbon fiber epoxy / adhesive. which is BMW's K3 adhesive, and it goes on the edges right here, and that's what's going to bond the carbon fiber to the chassis of the car. It's basically like welding carbon fiber to the metal. So yeah, now that everything's prepped, we'll clean it with the R1 cleaner slash primer that BMW offers, and then we're gonna install the primer for the windshield glass right here in that area. We're gonna install the primer and then add, as you can see right here, we've added the primer already on the chassis. So these are the locations where the windshield epoxy is going. Right there, here in the center, and then right there as well. And then I'm gonna scuff this, which is the K5 BMW adhesive, which basically protects anything that got damaged or during drilling open of the spot welds. Clean that with the R1 cleaner, and then we're going to be ready to clamp it down and let it cure overnight. Okay, so now we're using the R1 cleaner and primer to clean all the scuffed up surfaces on the carbon fiber as well as on the chassis, and that's going to prepare the carbon fiber to receive the adhesive, and then we can lay the carbon fiber onto the car and clamp everything down so we can finish this project. So now I'm going to just clean this and then we'll jump right into it. Sweet. Okay, now that the carbon fiber roof is in, as we just saw, we're going to be installing some thermal insulation and acoustic insulation on the roof just to prevent some of the heat from going into the cabin. We're using Coolit Thermaltech, and it's an acoustic slash thermal insulation. It's bendy, it has like an aluminum section to it, and this should be perfect to insulate from heat inside the cabin, so it's going to minimize cabin temps inside the car. Okay, so now we're going to install the windshield, and let's do a quick transition into the installed glass. And the new windshield is in. A little bit of magic trick right there. So that's it for the carbon fiber roof install. It looks amazing. I love it. It's one of my favorite mods I do on my cars. I hate sunroofs and in the US, a lot of cars, or especially in California, a lot of cars get spec'd with the sunroof, and I hate it. So let's get into the details of how much we saved in weight for this mod. And let's look at it. I put everything on my phone. I'm gonna put up the numbers on the screen as well. So with the CSL cross brace that we saw that goes right here behind the driver's seat, it weighs 1.3 kilos. I'm gonna put in the pounds equivalent on the screen. Then the OEM roof panel, just the metal panel, weighs 11.1 kilograms. And then the sunroof assembly that goes here weighs 15.6 kilograms. So it is kind of heavy. I think that's what, 26.7 kilograms just there in the roof, and it's up top, so it's a lot of weight to be up top. And then the CSL roof comes in at, or the carbon fiber roof comes in at 3.7 kilograms. So it is really light. It felt like paper. Like, we were kind of scared when we were prepping the thing, because we started getting a little bit of wind blowing, that it was going to pick it up and blow it off the stand. But it didn't do that, thankfully, so we didn't have that issue. So in the grand total, we're saving 21.7 kilograms from the weight up top. So up here, it's a lot of weight. Is it worth, I think, $3,500 to $4,000 just in parts to do? I don't think so. You could... you'll probably lose way more weight just doing seats and spend around the same amount of money or less buying pole positions. So there's other better bang for the buck modifications, but looks wise, aesthetics, I love it. Got rid of the sunroof. I hate sunroofs, and since we're going for the full CSL modification or like conversion, we had to do the roof, and it looks awesome, so can't complain too much. Would I recommend this mod? Yes, if it's one of the last modifications you want to do. If you're going for the CSL look, if you hate the sunroof and stuff like that, I definitely recommend it. But if there's other modifications you want to do, I definitely would recommend doing something like the CSL intake. That's one of my favorite mods on this car. Headers, getting the car tuned, and that would be better money spent. But since all of that's done, this was one of the final things that needed to be done. So I did the whole headliner, redid it, and it was done in Alcantara. So it was a brand new headliner. It was a European spec headliner, brand new. And we had everything redone in the car in Alcantara. So that way we don't have any of the headliner sag or headliner that peeling off of the A pillar, B pillar, C pillar, which is very common in these cars, as everybody knows that owns one. So yeah, it feels awesome. I'll try to see if I can show you what it feels like or what it looks like in the car, but it looks awesome. But yeah, as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It's gonna help the channel a lot. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to check out some of the other videos. You'll probably end up enjoying them, because we did a whole documentation of all the mods done to this car up to this point, and being able to make about 420 horsepower to the engine, and documenting all that stuff too, and doing the CSL conversion. So we've done all that. Yeah, so that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.